24, since the exile of the Red Gods, Longhouse, Eagle Height, Gilgaras Mountains. Corvus, war chief of Crow Crag, paced below the dais. Lady Lanta, the Blessed One, and the voice of the gods, sat in regal splendour beside the empty throne. The other war chiefs fidgeted on their stools and benches. The Blessed One would not reveal more of the gods' plan until the king was present, and the king was not one for stirring himself unnecessarily. Still, the sun was high even this late in the year, and Corvus would bet Lanta was as impatient as he. A full-scale invasion with only months to plan. An ally within Rilpor they could use to their advantage. The idea warmed his belly. Invasion. Conquest. A chance for glory such as there'd never been, for Corvus to put his name and Crow Crag's on the lips of every Mireces and Rilporian alive. And yet Liris lounged in his stinking pit like an animal. The other end of the longhouse was crowded with warriors, complaining bitterly about the storm that had blown in. Slaves hunched and scurried to their chores, and Corvus's lip curled in disgust as an oman tripped and spilt his tray of bowls across the floor. Dogs lunged for the scraps, fighting around the man's feet and legs, scrabbling through the ragged furs piled up to keep off the chill. Corvus kept pacing, fists clenched behind his back and face schooled to patience. He glanced at Lanta, sitting remote and inaccessible as the very mountains, and fought the urge to shake the information out of her, to slap it from her. The Blessed One is not as other women, he reminded himself. She'll wind my guts out on a stick if I touch her. Despite his own warning, he glanced at her with a mixture of irritation and hunger. She didn't deign to meet his eyes. The gods wait for no man, not even a king. Lanta's voice was honey and poison, and Corvus noted how the other war chiefs froze at its sound. There is much to discuss. Edwin, Liris's second, jumped up. I'll go, Blessed One, he said, and scuttled down the longhouse to the king's quarters at the end, his relief palpable. They all wanted to settle this and get out from under the Blessed One's eye. Barna's death hung in the air like the scent of blood. Corvus had completed 2 more circuits below the dais before the yelling began. By the time the others had struggled out of their chairs, he was at Lanta's side with drawn sword, ready to defend her. "The king!" Edwin screeched as he shoved back into the longhouse. His hands were bloody. "The king has been murdered! Liris is dead!" For a moment Lanta's calm cracked, and Corvus would have missed it if he hadn't been looking at her instead of Edwin squawking like a chicken on the block. But then the mask was firmly back in place. Corvus's sword tip drooped onto the dais as Edwin's words sank in. Corvus opened his mouth, closed it again, and looked at the men gathered like a gaggle of frightened children below him, backs to the dais, eyes on the far door. They were bursting with questions for Edwin, but none seemed keen to approach him. Lanta picked up her skirts and strode the length of the longhouse, bursting through the door to the king's quarters and slamming it behind her before anyone could see. Edwin stood outside it, staring at his hands in disbelief. Liris is dead, and the Blessed One is with the body. Eagle Height has no king. Eagle Height is vulnerable. Gosfath, God of Blood, Dark Lady of Death, I thank you, Corvus whispered. I swear to be worthy of this chance you have given me. All I do is in your honour. One of the chiefs turned at the sound of his voice, his mouth an O of curiosity. My feet are on the